So today we're going to do some more polynomial division using long and synthetic division. So let's get to it. So this is our first example, and it says in the directions that we are going to divide them. So let's decide how we want to divide them. If we look at our divisor, the thing we're dividing by, it is a linear factor. And our a value in front of the y is 1. So let's definitely use synthetic division. But before we do that, we need to rewrite this polynomial in order. So first I'm going to write my y to the 4th, then my 8y cubed, then my 24y squared, then my 32y, and then my 16. Okay, so now we can do this. So I'm going to put the negative 2 in here, because remember you take the y plus 2 and you set it equal to 0. So y would equal negative 2. And then we're just going to drop down the coefficients. 1, 8, 24, 32, 16. Because we were at the polynomial in order and didn't have any missing terms, we can just drop those coefficients down. Take your 1 and you drop it down. Below the line you multiply, above the line you add. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 8 plus negative 2 is 6. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. 24 plus negative 12 is 12. 12 times negative 2 is negative 24. 32 plus negative 24 is 8. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Remainder of 0. That's magical. That means that the y plus 2 was a factor of my y to the 4th plus 8y cubed plus 24y squared plus 32y plus 16. I started with a 4th degree right here, and I divided by one linear factor, so that's going to take this down to a y cubed. It goes down by 1 power. So my answer here is going to be y cubed plus 6y squared plus 12y plus 8. There is my answer. And it says right below this that we're going to check. So before we move on to the next problem, we're going to go ahead and check it. And to check it, you want to undo division, which means you want to multiply, because multiply is the undo of a division. So to do that, we're going to do our y to the 3rd plus 6y squared plus 12y plus 8. And we're going to multiply back by the y plus 2 that we divided out. And if this works out, then I should get that green statement right there back. So here we go. I'm going to take the y and send it to everyone. So y times y cubed is y to the 4th. Y times 6y squared is 6y cubed. Y times 12y is 12y squared. Y times 8 is an 8y. And then you have to do the same thing with the 2. The 2 has to go to everyone. So plus 2y cubed plus 12y squared plus 24y plus 16. And then we're going to put like terms together. Cubed and cubed, squared and squared, y's and y's. So when we're all done, we get a y to the 4th plus a 8y cubed plus 24y squared plus 32y plus my 16. 16. This is the same as that right there, and so we've checked it and it matches and it all works out. Okay, let's try the next one. Our next problem says that we have x cubed minus 7x minus 6 all over x plus 2. Okay, so first things first, I am dividing by a linear factor, and the a value equals 1, so we can do synthetic division again. But before I do that, I'm going to take this thing and fix it. X cubed plus 0x squared minus my 7x minus my 6. So that means if I take my x plus 2 and set it equal to 0, x equals negative 2. So in my house goes a negative 2. And then I have 1x cubed no x squareds, negative 7x's, and a minus 6. You drop the 1 down, below the line you multiply, and above the line you add. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 0 plus negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6, and I get a remainder of 0 again. Remember, I started with a cubic, and I took out 1x. So this is going to be an x squared. Always goes down by 1 when you're doing synthetic division, because you divided out a linear, a x to the first power. So this is an x squared minus a 2x minus a 3. That's my answer. And again, it says to check. So let's make sure we go ahead and check. Oops. So put that in the corner. So same thing. I'm going to take my x squared minus my 2x minus my 3 and multiply back in my x plus 2. So x times x squared is x cubed. X times negative 2x is negative 2x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. And then the 2 has to also go in. So 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times negative 2x is negative 4x. And 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6. We're going to put our squares together. Put our x's together. So I get x cubed. My x squares, actually, those cancel off. Negative 7x and a minus 6. And that is what I started with right there. So it worked out. Good job. Okay, 2 more to go. So my next one, before we even do it, I just want to look at the bottom. It says 2y plus 2 equals 0. This is a linear factor, but our a does not equal 1. So, a couple options. You can divide everything by 2, or you could solve this equation, or we can just do long division. And I am going to opt for the long division. So let me grab my eraser. I'm going to opt for the long division because we've done 2 synthetic divisions. So let's do a little bit of long division. And so I'm going to write down my problem. This one's not even numbered. Okay, so we'll just write it down. So I'm going to have my 2y plus 2. And divide that into, okay, we got to put this in order. Be very careful. 24y to the 5th plus a y to the 4th plus no y to the 3rd plus 8y squareds plus 32y's plus a 16. Okay, let's make this happen. So to make 2y become a 24y to the 5th, we need to multiply by a 12y to the 4th. 12y to the 4th. So 12 times 2 is 24, and y to the 4th times y is y to the 5th. Then 12y to the 4th times 2 makes it 24y to the 4th. And if you remember, we're going to subtract the entire thing. So this becomes a negative and a negative. So when we do that, we add them up. The first term has to go away. Y minus 24y is going to make a negative 23y to the 4th. Oh, this problem is not going to be very nice. It's okay, we got this. Plus 0y cubes. Okay, let's do this. So the easiest way I can make you see how this works out is the following. I'm going to go down here in the corner. Yeah, we'll go down here. I need 24 times some question mark to equal negative 23y. So what you're really going to do is divide and solve for question mark. Divide by 2y, divide by 2y. Oops, sorry, y to the 4th. So this gets me a negative 23 over 2y to the 3rd. So that's what we're going to multiply by up here. So up here I'm going to put a negative 23 over 2 y to the third. So negative 23 over 2 times a 2 makes my negative 23y, and then to the fourth. And then negative 23 over 2 times 2 again makes a negative 23, and then y to the third. Subtract the whole thing. So that wasn't horrible. It becomes a positive and a positive. The first ones cancel out. 0 plus 23 makes it 23y cubed. We're going to keep having to do this over and over again. And then we're also going to drop down the 8y squared. Okay, we just did this 23 business, so let's use our knowledge and say up here it's going to be a positive 23 over 2y squared. So 23 over 2 times 2 is just a 23y cubed. And 23 over 2 times 2 is just a 23y squared. You're going to subtract the whole thing. It becomes a negative and a negative. So the first ones cancel out. 8 minus 23 gets me to a negative 15y squared. And you're going to drop down your 32y. Let me shrink everything just a little bit. Okay, so same idea. 2y times question mark equals negative 15y squared. Divide by 2y, divide by 2y. So you get negative 15 over 2y. So that's what I'm going to multiply by, negative 15 over 2y. Negative 15 over 2 times 2 makes a negative 15, and then y squared. Negative 15 over 2 times 2 makes a negative 15y. We subtract the whole thing, so this becomes a positive and a positive. The first ones cancel out. 32 plus 15 makes a 47y. And then we're going to drop down our 16. And the last step. We got this, kiddos. We got this. So we're going to multiply by a 47. Oh, nope. Yep. Sorry. One more step. We're going to multiply by a 47 over 2. 47 over 2 times 2 makes a 47y. And 47 over 2 times 2 makes a 47. Subtract the whole thing, so it becomes a negative and a negative. The first ones cancel out, and then 16 minus 47 makes a negative 31. So this one I have a remainder of 31. So take all this, we're going to shrink it down and write our final answer. Our final answer is 12y to the fourth minus 23 over 2y to the third plus 23 over 2y squared minus 15 over 2y plus 47 over 2 plus 31 over 2y plus 2. And it says that we can check it, but I'm going to be so nice to you and not make you do that today. We are not going to multiply that all back out, but we could, and it would not be horrible, and it would work back out to get to our original problem. Okay, the last example problem we have is, and I'm going to write it in order and put in the missing terms. I have y squared plus 0y's minus 2, which I want to divide into y to the fourth plus 0y cubed minus y squared minus 6y plus no constant term. To make a y squared look like y to the fourth, I need to multiply by a y squared. Put your squareds above your squared things, keep your place values in order. Y squared times y squared is y to the fourth. Y squared times nothing is 0y cubed. Y squared times 2 is negative 2y squared. You're going to subtract the whole thing. The signs are going to change to minus, minus, and a plus. The first ones cancel out. The next ones cancel out. Negative y squared plus 2y squared makes a y squared. You can drop down your 6y. To make y squared look like y squared, I need to multiply by a plus 1. Oops, sorry. When I dropped this down, it should be a negative 6. So 1 times y squared is going to be a y squared. 1 times no y's is no y's. And then 1 times negative 2 is going to be negative 2. So I'm going to drop down my 0 also. Subtract the whole thing. This becomes a negative and a positive. These cancel out. Negative 6 minus nothing is going to be negative 6y. And then plus a 2. That's my remainder. So remainder of negative 6y plus 2. So when I write my final answer, I'm going to get a y squared plus 1 plus negative 6y plus 2 over y squared minus 2. So let's check this one to make sure that it works out, because it won't be nearly as bad as the one before this. Okay, so if I want to check it, if I want to check this, I take my y squared plus 1 plus negative 6y plus 2 over y squared minus 2. I'm going to multiply the whole thing by y squared minus 2. So when I do this, you're multiplying by this whole entire quantity. So really you're going to get a y squared times a y squared minus 2 plus 1 times y squared minus 2 plus negative 6y plus 2 y squared minus 2 times a y squared minus 2. So here's what kind of works out. These y squared minus 2's are going to cancel off, so I'm left with a negative 6y plus 2. This first one's going to become a y to the 4th, because I'm just going to multiply the y squared in, minus 2y squared, times 1 makes this a plus y squared minus a 2, and then we're going to see what happens. So first things first, this 2 and this 2 are going to cancel off. And then I just get to rewrite my answer, y to the 4th minus y squared, because when you combine this one and this one, you get a negative y squared, and then minus my 6y. This is the same thing that I started with up here. So we did it right. Our answer was correct. So this answer right here was correct.